next year. I'm making her play next year. Yep. Some other lady. Huh? You can? Yeah, she don't play. Yeah, you can go. She's in charge of
Entertainment.
entertainment. She's in charge of.
Good job for her.
Okay, thank you. I know.
Let the record show that the regular Riverview City Council meeting was called to order on June 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Will the clerk please take roll?
Councilmember Ganaga?
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Here.
Councilmember Prey?
Here.
Councilmember Robbins?
Here.
Mayor Swift?
Here.
Councilmember Webb?
Here.
Councilmember Workman?
Let the record show that Councilman Workman is excused. Tonight we have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman O'Neill and invocation by Councilman Ganaga. Will you please rise?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Precious Lord, we thank you for our many blessings, and we ask that you might bless our elected officials in their decision-making matters to the best of our community. Amen.
Thank you for that, and luckily it's on the cooler side in here, so you don't have to sit outside in that heat. Tonight we have, we do have some awards and presentations to do. Oh, any announcements, Jeff?
No, Your Honor, there's no announcements for this evening.
And I don't have any either. 4-1, award certificates of unit citation for Sergeant Herrick, Officer Miller, Officer Haskin, Detective Matt Lyles, and Detective Mike McDonald, all from Riverview Police Department, as well as Officer Rusnick and Officer Hughes from the Trenton Police Department. Chief, you want to come up?
Thank you, Mayor. It brings me great pleasure to do these kind of things, and also we're fortunate to work in a very, very supportive community. Without our citizens calling us, our job can be a lot harder. So I want to thank the citizen. They want to remain anonymous, but I want to thank them as well. On June 6th, 2024, at approximately 7:58 hours, which is 7:58 p.m., Sergeant Herrick, Officer Miller, Officer Haskins were all dispatched to 17771 Park Ridge on a report of a possible home invasion. All officers arrived quickly, established a perimeter, and requested assistance from the Trenton Police Department. Trenton officers Rusnick and Hughes arrived and immediately assisted with our perimeter. While maintaining this perimeter, 2 suspects walked out the front door, carrying bags of household items, pots, pans, jewelry, stuff like that. Due to officers on scene remaining calm and giving clear and concise commands, all while utilizing proper cover and tactics, these 2 suspects were taken into custody without incident. And both detectives did a great job as well. They interviewed both suspects. They got confessions. They even got them to write an apology note to this lady. So, gentlemen, you want to come on up? Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. The others, they couldn't make it, so I'll take the ones to Trenton's police chief and give them theirs. Hang on one second. Fantastic teamwork, as usual. I'm lucky to work in a great organization. You guys make me proud. Thank you.
And on behalf of all our citizens, and particularly those in the neighborhood where I live, we certainly appreciate all you guys do. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you. great to have such a nice bunch of guys. 5-1, approve the minutes of the 6/3/24 regular Riverview City Council meeting in a condensed version for publication. What's council's pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman O'Neill, supported by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins.
Yes.
Mayor Swift,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga.
Yes.
Tonight, we have no public hearing. Now is the time for guest and visitor comments. Anyone wishing to address the mayor and council, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes. There is no sharing of time and no rebuttals, and please be respectful. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Ed Moss. I live at 18207 Valade. I kind of gravitated between a couple of speeches tonight, but I decided on the one I was going to deliver on November 20th of last year, which would be the same night that Councilmember Webb and Councilmember Prey were sworn in. So I'm going to deliver this speech now for a few reasons that'll probably become obvious. And I'd written this at the time, so this does not include either of the two of you in my thoughts of this, so no offense, but you'll probably thank me later on. To begin with, and if I don't get all the way through this, I'll finish this next week. To begin with, as far as I can think of, I've had, I'd say, less than 5 conversations with Mayor Swift personally. Usually they have been at the election polls. I know there was one at Arnaldo's, I believe, for the Meet the Mayors and that. But there was also this one, and this is what I want to focus on tonight. And there will be a couple of conversations involved, but I'm going to start out with the one Mayor Swift. He contacted me through Facebook Messenger on May 3rd of 2023. And he had already tried to reply to one of my posts, which I promptly deleted because it was not germane to what I posted on there, and I was very surprised by his lack of professionalism with that. In any event, he had messaged me and he said, quote, Ed, Go Big Multimedia would like the table placard back to keep as a souvenir. Now, this is from when I was at the State of the City address last year. I happened to be at the first table along with David Bogard and that, and this is kind of my response to his comments about Will Evans, just so all of you know. In any event, I'll start out. He said, Ed, Go Big Multimedia would like their table placard back to keep as a souvenir. You can drop it off at my office at any time. And I said, I'm sure they can contact me and make arrangements. So then Will Evans contacted me 6 days later on May 9th, and he said, Ed, the Southgate Rotary assigned you a seat at my company's table that I paid for the Mayor's State of the City address. Now, what I want to say about that is I paid for my ticket, not Will Evans, and I want to be absolutely 100% clear on that. I never asked Will Evans to pay for anything for me, and I never will. But in any event, he said, you took our table placard, and this is all directly from Mr. Evans, you took our table placard with our name on it, Go Big Multimedia. It wasn't yours to take, nor was it given to you. And the reason he said that is because I happened to take it, and I had it in my hand when I said goodbye to he and Sherry, not figuring that there would be a problem, but as you'll see, there was just a little bit of one, I would say. And then he went on to say, I want it back as a souvenir of events we go to. What is your address and convenient time so I can come pick it up? Thank you, Will Evans. And I said, Will, I would rather you not come to my residence. I am extremely disappointed and believe it reflects on you badly that you're concerned about a piece of cardboard. And given what's happened in this city at that time, you doggone right I was. Very disappointed. Then I also went on to say, if you think it's that atrocious of an offense, you ought to have gone to the police department. And then I went on to say, seeing as though it's been almost a week since this occurred, it leads me to wonder about you, your company, and especially the Riverview Register. Then I went on to say, I suggest that going forward you not address me as if I were a child. I deserve much better than that from you. Thank you. And he said to me, and again, this is all direct quote from Facebook, which I have on my messenger to this date. Ed, your answers deeply disturbing. Your answers are deeply disturbing, or that somehow you think it's okay to take something that is not yours. And again, we're talking about a piece of cardboard here, not a piece of jewelry, but a piece of cardboard. But in any event, Ed, you have property of ours that is not rightfully yours. You have 2 days to give it to the dispatcher's desk to the Riverview Police Department. And I said to him, I said, quote, I want you to stop threatening me immediately. And I said, your actions are unprofessional and unwarranted. And then 2 days later, I said to him, I said, Will, I paid for my seat at the State of the City event. If it was so important that if it was so important you would have said something to me at that time. The fact that you didn't is disturbing in addition to your previous statements about me. And what I did is I took it back to Arnolds. Thank you, sir. I took it back to Arnolds, and when I gave it to, and I'm not thinking of his name, but Mario's brother, and I told him this story, he was flat out shocked. But in any event, since I will...
Mr. Miles, can you wrap it up? You
Yes,
got
I will wrap it
15
up
seconds.
next time, and it'll be on July 15th. But I have this precious cardboard for all of you that I'm going to leave with Sohail. And Mayor Swift, your initials are on yours with an AMS on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you know my initials. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Tonight, we have no organizational business. Is there any item council wants removed from the consent agenda?
9-6, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, the long one, okay. Okay, that leaves 9-1, authorized bid 2544 for clean wood grinding to Clancy Excavation, Land Preserve. 9-2, award RFQ number 363 and authorized execution of agreement with the AKT Peerless for Brownfield Investigative Review and General Consulting in the amount of $9,000, Land Preserve. 9-3, authorized execution of addendum extending agreement for calcium chloride with Suburban Calcium Chloride Sales, Inc. from the Land Preserve. And 9-4, authorized memorandum of understanding from Carlisle Workman Associates, that's the city manager's office. 9-5, approve the fee schedule per the city manager. What's council's pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Ganaga, supported by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Okay, 9-6, Brian.
Yeah. Through your chair to City Manager Jeff Dolbeck, if we could get some explanation on the budget amendments for clarification, maybe from my side, the current budget, and then you have the amendment or change, and then you have the amended budget. If we get some explanation of some of these numbers are quite drastic.
Sure.
All right.
Jeff.
Your Honor,
This is something we've asked for, right? There's like a quarterly amendment or budget changes?
Yeah,
Okay.
so let me go back. So historically in the city of Riverview, budget amendments were done before our fiscal year end of June 30th. And it was kind of a cleanup of postings that if there was amounts posted in different accounts, it's to clean those up, or if there was amounts exceeded, it was to transfer monies between the line items to make the total equal. And when you're looking at this, and I'll confirm this with Ann, but this is not to go over the budget amounts that were approved last year at this time for the current fiscal year. I'll give you an example. We'll speak to the details with Ann, the Budget and Finance Director. Again, this is Ann's first year through. We are doing quarterly statements. As you know, I brought quarterly budget amendments. I know we had some overtime issues in a department, so we brought that amendment forward. We will go to quarterly budget amendments going forward, but this has been Ann's first year through this. And historically, Riverview's done them all at the end of the year. So this is nothing abnormal. But I'll give you an example of how something can come up like that. I use the landfill only because I was there before I was in this seat, and, they have a line item called equipment rental. And that's if any of our heavy equipment goes out, we have to rent equipment. Well, we kind of look at a crystal ball and say, you know, this is what equipment rental should be, barring any kind of catastrophic claims. And we had some catastrophic repairs this year. So therefore, we went over, and so by going over, we have to move monies from a different line item to that line item so that what was spent equals what was budgeted. So that's kind of how it works. There's ups, there's downs, and what we're going to do going forward, as you have been getting your quarterly statements, we will be making these adjustments quarterly so that questions can be asked at a timely basis when the money's spent or the expenses incurred. That way it can be much more timely. But these could have happened last July or last August, but they're getting cleaned up before the end of the year, June. So to your questions, if you have specific questions of these adjustments, Ian had to review the GLs and had to dig to see if it was a misclassification or if there was additional monies needed to handle the operations of the different departments.
Specific questions, Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
The way we should interpret it then, obviously, if there's an amendment that's deducting or reducing the budgeted, that'd be in the red. And if it's an addition, it would be in the black.
If it's,
And if it's even, then it would have been
right,
straight across the same numbers, correct?
correct. So the revenues, so basically here's from my side as an auditor or as a previous auditor and accountant, this is required by the state of Michigan. Preferably, I wouldn't make any budget adjustment because your budget is a tool, is a working tool that you start at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, you want to see how well you did. And you got to remember when you're going, some of these are very large items, so a lot of it was capital improvements. At the end of the year, you know, even if you're going through the middle of the year, I still didn't know if those capital improvements are going to get done. Is equipment available? Is it on a fire engine takes 7 months to build? Like, you're doing the best you can at the time of the budget. A lot of these numbers, I'm just doing it because it's required. You can see a lot of them are very small. In total, the budget overall, even in the third quarter, looked great. So I'm just adjusting revenue, adjusting expenses because I'm required to do so. And like certain items, I picked things that were a little bit on the bigger side. There's still plenty of room. There's still ones that will still come under budget that I didn't take down. I was just taking a realistic approach to make the budget to what I'm required to do, as well as show you what things weren't spent and where our revenue was overestimated. That's kind of the simplicity of it. Any little items, definitely there's some more. I believe in a cost center budget, but as you adopted a line item budget. So you're going to have to sit there and adjust all these lines every time they go $2 over, 50, literally 50 cents over. State requires that we do this. And I'm going to be honest with you, when we go to do budget adjustments for payables and stuff, these still might not be exactly, and that's what the audit's for. But this is what going through this concept, because even sometimes we could say, okay, we'll do it in June. Is it right? Are there still projects that didn't even get started till late, you know? So you just do the best you can, and we can, if something is obvious, like a June, that we would need it, that we know it's gonna go over by the end of the year, then obviously we'll bring you a judge that's more
So
often.
if it were to go outside of the realm of a number we already approved, you would have to come back to us.
Right. I mean, if we start seeing it, but, you know, even at mid-year, you're like, oh, well, they can still spend that. It's just because they have a placeholder for a major capital improvement and we didn't get to it. That's what these adjustments are. They're kind of taking off all those. This one we budgeted. You know, you have those $1 million projects. Are we going to get to it? No, we maybe not. So next June, I'm going to take those off saying, well, we didn't get to that project. So it's just a way to, you know, if I gave you the June, and maybe I should have, you're going to see that the budgets are still under 100%. Very few line items. These are a few line items considering how many line items are in our full budget that are over. So I didn't go through and adjust the ones that we had plenty of room, you know, like $5,000 or whatever. I didn't go through that whole process. So I just did the simplicity, and we can always talk about what
So
you
these are-
guys want to see.
These are the items that are over. that
Yeah, these
correct?
are the items that were over, or extremely to under. I just did what was over and then extremely, the extremes on the other side, instead of going through it. So I could have made them all budget, I could have said, hey, here's all the ins, here's the out, we're all at 0, 0, 0, 0, just like we started the budget. But then again, that's not showing you where we're at either. So it's just a concept, it's a learning thing. I think the budget is a tool. State makes me do this, so this is what we do.
Just as a follow-up question then to the mayor's statement is, if there's a large adjustment, and then I just use page 10 as an example, you have like street lighting, which was budgeted at 400,000, then the amendment's 100,000, so the change is a total of 500,000.
No, the change was 100,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, the changes, but the amended budget would be, the changed amended budget would be 500,000.
Right, and
correct?
that one we probably could have caught earlier, just looking at the rates, or you get more electricity in those, so just different times. But that one probably was a good one that could have came at a early.
And these would have came before council already to be,
They haven't, but they could have well been. This is why we're just doing this at one time. We're just
so
doing.
that's what I'm trying to understand, is are we approving these large changes now, or have they previously been changed?
No, we're doing it right now, so that when it comes to the audit, as required by state law, you're going to find that it's going to be very minor differences.
Okay, and another example, on page 10, you have the advertising and delivery for an additional 60,000, which, you know, until recently, I guess, maybe not the full year, we had talked about trying to keep that in
And that will
in
go
check.
forward. Yes, that was that one big thing by the school. That was that one chunk that we
Mm-hmm.
paid, and now we're not doing that anymore. So that was, that.
I would expect to see a decrease because the school paid us back, so therefore it would have been red instead of black.
Right, right, so.
So I don't understand why there's a huge expenditure of $60,000 for advertising and delivery when I would expect to see a credit.
That was when the expense when it came out. And then the other side is in the receivable. It's sitting in revenue as a receivable.
Your Honor, I believe the school district are making payments.
They are
So
making
that
payments.
will, that will be
receivable,
decreasing
but
as
you're
they
not
make the
seeing it here.
payments.
Right. That's in a receivable.
That'd be next fiscal year.
It should just be pretty even next fiscal year. It's in a receivable, and we're just collecting, so the receivable and the balance sheet is going down. It's more like a collection at the top, like what's our receivable? So this is recognizing the expense, and the receivables on the other side. And then off
Sorry.
the,
If I were to boil it down then, on page 11, with the net of revenues and expenditures, you
correct,
have in the middle column about $314,000, and then in the far right column, $319,000.
Right, so we budgeted-
I understand that there's only a
yes.
$5,000 difference. If you
Right.
took all those numbers, the credits and debits,
Correct.
you're only really out of skew by $5,000.
No, our original budget was 5,000. I'm saying we're collecting more revenue.
Okay?
It's more the revenue, so in the end, I'm assuming we're gonna add 300,000 to fund balance, not the 4,000 that was originally budgeted. I'm being more accurate. So we are collecting more revenue, and our expenses are, for the most part, they went up by 300, but we had more revenue coming in. Like, I would have never even thought that we would have all this personal property tax revenue come in, but I talked to the assessor, and they said, for some reason, the state had extra money and wanted to throw it our way. So I'm not complaining on that, but in the end, our general fund will be expected better than what we had planned.
Oh, very good.
Is that due to the fee increases?
Some of it has the fee, yep, because if you saw those line items, you saw I had to increase all those fees for the building department. So that did come into play. It did. I know there's a lot of numbers on here. Like I said, if I'm only picking and choosing what's
Well,
on
yeah, I
here.
think had there
And
been
it
some
kind of-
background explaining this so that
Yeah.
we weren't on our own to try to disseminate what the information is trying to present to
Absolutely.
us.
And like I said, we can do this more quarterly and kind of look over it in a study session or something. Maybe do a mid-year review.
Your Honor, I believe
Go ahead.
quarterly is what we're going to shoot for.
Yep.
And I think, did we put it on the study session? Did we have that on the study session?
The budget amendments?
Yeah.
No, because they have to be done to the state, so we didn't get a chance to.
Okay, and I
Yeah.
suggest we do that too,
Yeah, I suggest that too next time.
so that we can discuss it.
Yeah.
So just to finish with the last question, then the way to look at this is that we actually have more revenue than was anticipated. So we're not spending more than what we have.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will need a motion for 9.6, approve the budget amendments.
So move.
Motion by Councilman Robbins, supported by
Support.
Councilwoman Ganaga. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Robbins,
Yes.
Mayor Swift,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey.
Yes.
10.1, adopt resolution for the creation of the ad hoc Brownfields Committee. It's council's pleasure.
So move, Your Honor.
Motion by Councilman Webb, supported by Councilwoman O'Neill. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mayor Swift,
No.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins.
Yes.
Motion passes. 11.1, approve extension of the 2023 street sectioning program contract with the Savone Cement, Inc. for the 2024 street sectioning program in the amount of $780,000, plus 10% contingency in the amount of $78,000, for a total of $858,000. Also approve engineering fees to perform field evaluation, marketing, contract administration, inspection, testing, and as-built, and the amount not to exceed $120,000. What's council's pleasure?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Ganaga, supported by
Support.
Councilman Robbins. Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins,
Yes.
Mayor Swift.
Yes. Tonight, we have no ordinances. Is there any other business council wants to bring up at this time?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Prey.
I just wanted to say thank you to all the sponsors who made Summerfest the success. I got to spend the last 3 days out there, and residents had a great time, and it's primarily due to a lot of the sponsorship we had, so wanted to make sure that we recognized everybody, so thank you, guys.
That's true, and Jeff, Todd, we have a report at the next council meeting. I'm sure you haven't had time to get all the numbers together yet, but I think that's a good idea when you acknowledge that we acknowledge the sponsors that helped us out. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Jeff.
I know, I'm not saying that we can't have it by next, but a lot of the bills don't even come to us for 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm not sure Todd's going to have all the bills yet.
Whatever you have.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
We will compile it, though, as soon as we get all the information.
All right. Cool, thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Webb.
I'd also like to thank the Summerfest Committee, Todd, the Recreation Department, and your staff, the Riverview Police Department, the DPW, and a special thank you to Chris Ammons for all the support for the Riverview Community Neighborhood Watch, and also for the excellent job that you guys did for Summerfest. I really enjoyed it. I heard a lot of positive feedback from the attendants, and so I'm proud that it's here in Riverview and it's continuing. Furthermore, I just wanted to thank a couple of businesses in Riverview, the Riverview Pizza Place for providing discounted pizzas, and the Riverview Nutrition for providing affordable coolers of ice, and you can actually get that yourselves if you call ahead. They have very reasonable prices. And also the volunteers and people that purchase items from the Riverview Community Neighborhood Watch booth, and the monies that we raised, which was pretty extensive, will pay for the National Night Out at Young Patriots Park from 6 to 9 p.m. and on August 6th. So that's an evening of camaraderie with neighbors and our first responders. We'll have free Serendipity ice cream, Carrie Ann's face painting, Riverview Pizza Place, and lots of bouncy houses and water slides from ZZR Party Rentals. So please keep that in mind. And lastly, I'd like to bring the attention to I don't have my phone on me, but SEMCOG sent out a notice to all of us about air monitors that are placed around in the different communities. And I just wanted to give that address. It was URL. Sorry, Mayor. I thought I had the email open, but my laptop shut down. Well, I'll bring it forward in another time, but just wanted you to know there's monitors in Riverview. I believe it's at Hammond and Sibley. There's another at Gable Richard, Anderson Elementary in Trenton, and these measure the PM 2.5 particulates. So it's good information for residents to have at their fingertips. And my email is open now, so if you just bear with me 1 second.
While you're looking, Councilman Robbins, you want to?
Please, go ahead. Thank you.
It was just a little more of the same. It was very nice getting out there. I know my kids enjoy it, and what I found most interesting was our busy schedules. Everybody has 50,000 things to do on a weekly basis, so it's nice to run into the same people every year that you see. You wait to see them next year, pretty much. DPW, recreation, our police, fire, everybody was out there, and it was a joint effort. I didn't hear of anything too crazy going on, so I'm sure we would have heard something. So that's in the win column as far as I'm concerned, and thanks to the sponsors for allowing that to go on one more year, and I look forward to next year. Had a great time.
Awesome, thank you.
I do have it now, Your Honor. It's
Go ahead.
justair.co, and then in the location, you could select Wayne County, and that'll bring up a map. And if you click to zoom in, you can actually select those locations I'd mentioned. And at any given time, it's a 2-hour cycle. When it refreshes, you can see the particulates. So if you have an asthmatic child, or if you're worried about diesel particulates in your area from trucks coming in and out, you could use that air quality monitor for gauging your activities outside. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jeff, with this extreme heat we have coming up, as City Hall, do we have some areas available as a cooling center?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe Chief Allen put out the email that we are using the city senior center area. And the doors will be open, and I know the police will be checking on them and making sure. I believe we'll have water available, of course, restrooms, and that's going to be our cooling center.
Okay, very good. And that'll be open 24 hours, or?
Yes, Your Honor, it should be open, starting today, I believe it was open.
Okay, thank you, because it is supposed to get pretty darn warm. I just have one announcement. The plans are starting to come together for our concert on the course on Sunday, July 21st. It's going to be a Blues Brothers tribute band with a complete brass section. We're still working on some food trucks, and we're going to have a small car show. And so watch our Facebook page, our website, and in the local papers, obviously, for some. As the details come together, we'll get them out. So just kind of keep an eye open for that. At that point, I will look for a motion to recess into closed session at the request of the city manager for the purpose of evaluating the performance of the city manager. It's council's pleasure.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Ganaga, supported by...
O'Neill.
I'm sorry, O'Neill. I try to guess who's going to do this. Supported by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Let the record show that we recessed at 7:34, and I believe that means we're coming back, right?
Yeah. Well, you are.
Let the record show that we reconvened at 8:36. Will the clerk please take roll?
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes, here.
Councilmember Prey?
Here.
Councilmember Robbins?
Here.
Mayor Swift?
Here.
Councilmember Webb?
Here.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Here.
Randy, if you're ready.
Your Honor, may I recommend a motion that concurs with the request of the city manager to establish a addendum to his agreement in the following particulars. That is, an amendment to the severance time period from 6 months to 9 months, additional 1 week of vacation to be added, but if not used, it's not going to be rolled over and it won't be paid off. The issuance of a boat ramp pass annually, and to reaffirm the 2% increase that he's contractually to receive, but no further compensation. And to further authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute same.
What's council's pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Ganaga, support by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilman O'Neill, supported by Councilman Prey. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Let the record show we adjourned at 8:39.